This is Spotlight Omaha. Spotlight Omaha is a local podcast that highlights local businesses and influential movers and shakers in the Omaha business community. Spotlight Omaha is brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Now, from the Pyramid Contractor Studios, the host of Spotlight Omaha, Jimmy Allen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome inside the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. If your company's not showing up at the top of Google searches, maybe you don't have a website yet, or you want to update the website you already have, Pixel Fire Marketing is the locally owned marketing firm for you. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details today. Joining me inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio is Beebe with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jimmy.
We've had the pleasure of doing this a couple of times, normally on my radio show.
Yep.
But I was glad we were able to do it in this setting because when you guys come in, there's usually a mentor that you bring in to tell their story about why they're big and how they're trying to help the male youth of the Omaha area. But I want to talk a little bit more about the sister sides of things today,
Sure.
as well as kind of what Big Brothers Big Sisters is doing in the community. For anybody that has been living under the rock for the better part of 30 years and doesn't know what Big Brothers Big Sisters is, can you tell them what it is?
Absolutely. So Big Brothers Big Sisters is a mentoring organization. It's volunteer and donor supported. We've been around serving the Omaha Metro for over 60 years now. We serve about 9 counties, so 2 counties in Iowa and 7 counties in Nebraska. And our entire mission is just to get youth a mentor.
The donor-backed nonprofit, and how many there are in Omaha is so staggering to me. At the level they're able to be successful. When you're in this and you're doing this every day, you're a big part of the recruiting. We'll talk about that in a minute. But is it surprising to you with how well you guys are able to kind of run your organization based off other people's donations?
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many wonderful nonprofits, youth-serving nonprofits in the area. And so I think we're incredibly grateful to be right up there with them. Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands is under Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. So there's about 200 agencies across the United States. So that certainly helps to get the word out and things like that. But yeah, we're grateful to be in the Omaha community.
When we talk about big times of the year, like events that help raise funds, can you talk about what some of those are and how people can get involved?
Absolutely. So we have some fundraisers coming up in spring. We do our Bowl for Kids' Sake, which is our largest fundraising event. And so that's when folks can get together, fundraise, and then we do a big 3-day kind of celebration for those teams who fundraise. We're going to have it at Spare Time Bowling. So we'll be out there, and then we're having a big golf fundraiser coming up here shortly as well after that.
When we talk about your job's a little bit, but as a company as a whole, like how easy or difficult is it to split time between we've got to be able to raise money and funds, but we've also got to be able to find mentors and do what we're trying to do and be able to balance those two things?
Absolutely. That's a great question because I do think it is a challenge because we're asking folks to not only give their time, but also to give their money. And that can, be very hard. That can be a hard ask. But, I think what makes it great from our side is we have a great team of folks who understand how to engage folks and how to see where they would best like to be a part of our mission.
And when we talk about finding the right mentor, obviously, when you're putting people in a youth's life, it's very important to background check and make sure excuse me, I'm sorry, they're there for all the right reasons. What does that process look like?
Yeah, so like you said, Jimmy, we absolutely background check folks. They have to fill out an application. It's kind of like an application that you would fill out maybe for a job, put some references on there. We call their references. We actually interview them at a very in-depth level because we want to try to get to know their likes, dislikes,
and
relationships.
Find the right mentee
Absolutely.
for them too, right?
Yeah, it's all part of it.
When somebody is thinking about becoming a mentor, what does that process look like when from the filling out the application standpoint? How can they do that?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it's exactly that. It's going onto our website, clicking sign up, filling out your application, your inquiry, all that good stuff, and then we have folks on our end who kind of hold your hand, send you reminders, help you with any of those steps, and then basically after everything comes back good, our team matches you.
We've gotten to meet a couple of the mentors along the way, as I mentioned. But when somebody comes in and wants to be a mentor, the one thing that it's kind of been echoed over a year on our radio show is that people are worried about disappointing the mentee. Um, what are if somebody is thinking about becoming a big brother or big sister today? What are some expectations they can have about the events that they can attend or the way they can impact the child's life, in your opinion?
Yeah. So expectations, I think one of the two things we hear the most is I don't have time and I have to be this perfect, upstanding, person, which that's truly, truly not the case. So I think when people join Big Brothers Big Sisters, right away they should know that it's going to be more fun than they expect. It's going to be more rewarding than they thought it would be. And we have a dedicated support team on our side to help them every step of the way to make it easy.
In sixth grade, I had a mentor that came to our school. I went to Bancroft Elementary, and they just they put kids that they thought could benefit from having a mentor in their life. And just like it was the thing I looked forward to the most that entire week, and it was literally lunch every week. Sorry, and the requirements is twice a month, correct? If you're going to be in a little's life.
Yep, twice a month or 4 hours a month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard from several different mentors about how it's changed their life, and I think we focus so much on the child because that's what it's supposed to be about, right? But I mean, I think about it in the sense of you never hear anybody that becomes a parent or adopts a pet or becomes a mentor or volunteers at a local soup kitchen or whatever it may be. Go, I wish I never would have done that, right?
Right.
And I think everybody feels like we're all so busy that we don't ever have time for anything. But this is probably one of those things that not only becomes the highlight of the mentee's life, but the mentors as well. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we hear it all the time, how much that our mentors are just as much impacted in this relationship. It's a very much a give and take sort of relationship. I mean, we hear those stories are absolutely the best, and they're no stranger to us.
We've asked all of the mentors that have come in this question, but I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Do you have a favorite story of a mentor you've placed and how it's kind of affected both the mentor and the mentee's life?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And actually, this just happened a couple weeks ago, but we had a match that was a former match. They matched in 1975 as a big sister and little sister. And they're still in contact, and we met with them recently. They celebrated 50 years of being in contact, and they have a wonderful relationship. The big sister lives in Omaha. The little sister has moved out of state, but they've been there for every milestone for weddings and kids and grandkids. And it's truly remarkable when you think about that all
just for
happened.
4 hours a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're catching up with Emma Beebe here of Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. When we talk about growth for Big Brothers Big Sisters, you mentioned Big Brothers Big Sisters of America is the umbrella. Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands is where you guys operate from. What does growth for Big Brothers Big Sisters in the Omaha area look like?
Oh gosh, when you talk about growth, we've had so much growth just within the last year. In January 2024, we actually combined with Big Brothers Big Sisters Lincoln, and so we have that service area as
Towns
well.
Are running into each other, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So growth for us is just being able to serve more youth, being able to let people know more about our mission, implementing different programs. We have a school-based program that is just in its, I think, 4th year, and that's grown a ton with the schools that they now serve in. So we're always growing, trying to innovate, and trying to give the best that we can to our community.
Can you talk about that program, what it looks like, and how it's different from the overall mentoring program that already existed?
For sure. So it's called Mentor You. Again, this is our school-based mentoring program. This serves primarily high school students. And what actually happens is you're matched with a freshman in high school or a sophomore, depending on what the group we have is. And our intent is that you stay with them throughout their entire high school journey. This is a great program for those who may be a little bit limited on time. So this is only 2.5 hours a month. Sure. Most of the time, you communicate with your student via an app that we oversee, an online platform, and then you meet with them during the school year once a month for a meal and an activity. Super easy. Summers are off. It's only during the academic school year, and it's a great program for older youth.
And we talk so often about matching up the mentor with the mentee, but we don't talk a lot about matching up the youth with the mentor, probably because there are so many available and so many kids that could benefit from the program. But when we're talking about a kid that needs a mentor, what do you guys usually look for in somebody to identify? Because a lot of times, specifically in the younger, they're usually volunteered by an adult in their life. But for the high school age stuff, what does that look like?
Yeah, so for Mentor You, it's still based on interest, matched on interest. But for our high school youth specifically, we try to match them based on what they would like to do after high school. So if we have a mentor who, let's say, is in engineering, and we have a student who's interested in engineering after
Right.
high school, we try to match based on those kind of like-minded careers, just because it helps the student know where to go after high school, get the advice, the support from someone who's actually
Already done it.
doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If obviously when we talk about the youth of America, I think a lot of people think ages 8 to 12, right? Because they're probably more likely to listen to somebody that's been there and done that. And a lot of times you hear high school kids, I don't want to listen to my dad. I don't want to listen to my mom. Is that the thought process? Is, hey, maybe we kind of missed on some of these kids, and then they're at an age now where they're probably a little more influenced and it may be more beneficial?
Sure, sure. I think we saw that there was a need. Obviously, high school students need just as much as younger kids. And so, for us, it was making sure that this, age group wasn't forgotten, was, still very much important entity in our society. And, high school students, that could be the most significant time to figure things out for them. They really need to have a pathway to graduate and be successful. And so it's just another group that, needs support.
It, when we talk about Omaha, there's so many different umbrellas underneath it. Obviously, you have North, South Omaha, Elkhorn, Gretna, Midtown, and Bennington is kind of expanding into the Omaha area as well. How difficult is it to pinpoint the area that you guys work within, or is it a matter of we'll kind of take any mentees that are being volunteered up or asking for help from wherever they may come from, because it is Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands?
Yeah, so our youth come from all parts of Omaha. I think the challenge is ensuring that enough mentors want to go to these places where our mentees are at and make that drive. Because some folks are like, I don't really want to go into South Omaha if I live out west, or I don't want to go into North Omaha if I'm more, south.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's the biggest challenge. I mean, we have young people all over, but it's just making sure that we find that right mentor who's, willing to make that drive, because you do pick up your little in our community-based program when they go and do their outing.
We've talked about this a lot when we've had you in, but it's more difficult to get male mentors. That's still fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know if, men, think maybe they're not quite sure what it looks like for them.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe they have a little bit more qualms about how our process works, or if they're able to, connect as well. I'm not
Most
sure.
of us have commitment issues. It's fine. As far as this is a conversation you and I have never had. As far as Big Sisters, why or how do you know how many female youth are available now, and why has that program succeeded as well as it has?
So right now we have about 100 youth on our wait list. I would say around 75% are male. So, you have that other small portion who are female. I think it's just, we just get women all the time. We just get so many women. Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy, because it's like, we almost need more littles who are female to be enrolled in our program. And then on the flip side, we need more male mentors to be enrolled.
What are some of the, I don't want to say qualities. What are some of the common denominators of kids that are successful that have been a little in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program?
I think some things that make a relationship extremely successful is consistency of the mentor, and just being able to have that person, that support system, just be a good listener. I think it's just consistency and showing up and listening.
If somebody wants to make a donation to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Midlands, how can they do that? How can they do that?
Yeah, so on our website, you can go to bbsmidlands.org. There's ways to donate there. You can do a one-time donation. We also have a monthly donor program called Matchmakers. We're unveiling a new Matchmakers donor wall here shortly, so your name will be on that if you choose to be a monthly donor.
That wall will be inside the facility of Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yep, inside of our Omaha office.
Okay. There's obviously a ton of things that go on around the Omaha area. You mentioned you guys have golf outings coming on, College World Series, the Henry Doyle Zoo, etc. Is there anything in the Omaha community that Big Brothers Big Sisters is giving back to in any way?
Yeah, so we do a lot of partnerships with different area, other nonprofits and organizations. And so we have a really great relationship with them. So our staff will sometimes volunteer at other organizations during the Christmas time when we do our during the holiday season when we do our adopt a family. We partner with other folks if we kind of get a surplus of things that maybe we don't need. We go ahead and donate them, see if anyone else needs them. And so it's a very much. We give just as much as we're grateful to have others give to us.
You may have just answered this question. Is there anything on the Big Brothers Big Sisters calendar throughout the year that you kind of circle as your favorite?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I would say my favorite is our back to school picnic. We do a back to school picnic for our families and young people, and that kind of happens towards the end of summer. But we do back to school donation drives leading up to it. And so we ask the community for new backpacks and everything that kids need to go back to school to have a successful school year. And so that's my favorite just because you really see the community come together. And then I get to see on the flip side giving away all these great things to the kids and families in our program. And last year we gave out over 300 new backpacks filled with new school supplies. We had food there, activities for the kids. It was a great time.
We see kids struggling to pay for school lunch, struggling to come up with backpacks. Project Assist, who we work with, donates coats and food during the winter months. What are some of the common struggles that you're seeing out of the youth, and what if people have the ability to make a donation? What do kids really need other than a mentor?
Sure, yeah. So, like you said, Jimmy, back to school time, they always need the tools that they need to succeed in school. When you think about, sometimes you don't often think about how expensive pencils and notebooks can get and rulers. And, not only is it beneficial for the kids, but it's also beneficial for the teachers because the teachers don't have to go out and maybe use their own money to supply these things. But, I think we just see, we always need back to school supplies. We always need around the holidays our adopt a family program. All those types of things.
Right. Those two things are kind of passed on the calendar. I don't think we focus on spring enough when we talk about education, right? Because it's like, hey, we gave it to them at the beginning of the year. Is there anything that you guys hear about at this point, maybe February till the end of April, that students or teachers is a great point that teachers can benefit from?
Yeah, let me think about that. I think truly, because we kind of slow down a little bit just because it's colder out, so we're not out and about as much.
That's the same case for everybody, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I think really just during this time, we focus a lot on just trying to get our kids set up with mentors leading into maybe the warmer months.
Sure.
January, I know I talked about this a little bit when I was on the zone, but January is National Mentoring Month, so we just try to do a big push for mentors.
You got 4 more days. Go become a mentor.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say that January is your biggest month where you get people to volunteer for that reason, or is there a certain time of year where maybe it's because it's warm outside, people want to be outside with littles? Is that where the spike kind of comes from?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So when it starts to become warmer around that spring kind of time, that's when we start getting really busy because our team can go out and do more presentations and tablings and engage with the community. There's tons of stuff going on when it's nice outside. So that's where we get the peak of our folks.
I want to talk about you for a minute. We're catching up with Emma Beebe of Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands. You're on the Spotlight Omaha podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. Why was this the right calling for you?
Yeah, I think that this was the right calling for me because I've been a big sister myself for...
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, yeah, for 4 years now. And so I was a big sister before I started at Big Brothers Big Sisters, so I was, I was familiar with it from the front end of things, but
Does that make your job as a recruiting coordinator a little bit easier?
It does, and it also, on the flip side, of course, it does, because I get to share what it means to me from a personal aspect, but
Absolutely.
I think also it can be hard, because firsthand how great this
Especially if there's
relationship
resistance,
is.
right?
Yeah, exactly, and you just want to be like, no, it's actually a great thing, it's easy, like, do it, but yeah.
If somebody out there is contemplating being a mentor, what's the best part about being a mentor for you personally?
I think the best part for me personally is just seeing a young person go through all the phases and seeing them grow up into, when I met my little, she was 11, and now she's going to be 15, and feels so weird, so weird. And just seeing how much she's grown and become her own person. And I also think it's just learning from her. I don't know what's going on.
My niece just started driving, and it's weird.
Exactly.
Me, so I could relate a little bit.
Exactly.
As far as growth for you, where would you like to see your career at Big Brothers Big Sisters? You're obviously not the owner of Big Brothers Big Sisters, but you're a big part of what you guys are doing in the Omaha area. Where would you like to see your career grow to?
Oh man, I would just. That's such a hard question.
Is it weird going from being a mentor to working within the system and seeing how it works?
A little bit. It's kind of like,
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, oh, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But, it's almost more magical because you get to see the hard work that folks put into to make your match successful. You don't realize
because for most people,
how
you show up
much.
and there's a kid there, and now you're a mentor,
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. They don't see like the magic that happens behind the scenes. But as far as like where I want to be in the career, it's just I want to keep doing what I'm doing now, but maybe being able to grow into a bigger team that can really get out there and get after it.
If people want to donate their time to Big Brothers Big Sisters, that's something they can do as well, right?
Yeah. We have like one-off opportunities, yep. Throughout the year, we have,
even at events to like the golf outing or whatever it may be.
Absolutely, yeah. We have corporations and small groups come in to help us year round for different things.
We're kind of hitting the point where we tend to wrap it up for the day. Is there anything we haven't mentioned about Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands that we should?
I think it really is a great organization. It's a great community to be a part of. Once you kind of become a volunteer and you're there engaging, it truly is a big family, and you get to know so many people, and it's a great place to be.
One more time, can you plug where people can go to become a mentor or make a donation?
Yeah, so folks can go to bbbsmidlands.org.
That is Emma Beebe with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands. If you've noticed, we're back live. We appreciate it. We saw a massive drop-off with not being live, so we appreciate everybody that checked in today, liked the video, and left a comment. She's with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands. If you have time to become a mentor or make a donation, head over to the website, make a donation or become a mentor. Again, there's 4 more days left in National Mentor Month. She's Emma Beebe. I've been Jimmy Allen. This is the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing and Pyramid Contractors. We'll see you tomorrow back at 11 a.m.